Luxury SUVs. Many people despise these things, but many more people seem to love them. See, they either represent the epitome of pretentious excess, or they just make sense, blending practicality with luxurious accommodation and all of the exclusivity that comes with a premium product. Yet, there's a bunch of SUVs out there that tick all of the luxury SUV KPIs that most of us, especially those buying luxury SUVs, seem to have forgotten about. Now, we're talking underrated luxury SUVs here, so forget the likes of the BMW X5 or the Audi Q7 or any Mercedes ML or G-Class, anything like that. These are the luxury SUVs that no one's buying. Also, we've not only tried to make sure that these SUVs are as internationally available as possible, we've tried to represent a broad spectrum of different price points. So kicking things off and starting from $5,000, that's right, a luxury SUV from $5,000. Granted, at $5,000 it's going to be in interesting condition. It's the Honda or the Acura MDX. The MDX we're talking about here is the 2001 to 2006 first generation. And here's a fun fact, the MDX was the first luxury crossover SUV to have standard third row seating. And its MDX name actually stands for multi-dimensional luxury. But is its luxury multi-dimensional? Well, positioned to go head to head against the first generation Lexus RX, the MDX was Honda, or Acura's flagship SUV, featuring a full leather interior, wood grain trim, a silky smooth V6 engine, and thanks to it being built on the same platform that underpins other Honda road cars like the Accord and the Odyssey, it drives beautifully. However, being 20 years old, these days, the levels of tech does leave much to be desired, although that is easily fixed with some aftermarket equipment. And quite a few are showing that their best days are well and truly behind them, but there are quite a few excellent condition examples out there, and even the very best ones will be asking well under $15,000. Before we go on, I just need to apologise for the audio going weird because it just started pissing down outside and we can't control the weather. Now, the specific model to go for is a post-2004 example, as the engine and the transmission were upgraded, as were a whole bunch of other aesthetic details. But in saying that, we are talking an early noughties Honda here, so even with a base level of regular maintenance, its reliability should be excellent. Now look, we know the MDX is far from an obvious choice when it comes to luxury SUVs, but there's an MDX around the corner from my place wearing some really classy like 18 or 19-inch alloy wheels, and it looks incredible. Okay, next up, this SUV, it does push the overrated terminology a little bit because there are plenty of these out there, but in saying that, we've seen through the sales figures that Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and even Lexus and Porsche do outsell it all of the time. It's the Volvo XC90. Why don't more people buy the XC90? Both generations look superb both inside and out for their respective periods. Actually, so much so that the current XC90 is still surely one of the most handsome SUVs on our roads. The levels of fit and finish easily match their more mainstream German rivals. They provide excellent and luxurious driving experiences, great levels of features and tech. They're supremely practical and safe. And thanks to being less popular than their counterparts, they're rarer and therefore more exclusive. They do, however, have a few question marks hovering over them in terms of mechanical reliability and longevity, but that can depend on specific variants and how they've been cared for. We'll be covering this in far more detail when we review both generations of XC90 in the near future. But in saying that, the same concerns about mechanical reliability can be said for their equivalent BMW, Mercedes, and Audi rivals. So again, why don't more people buy these? Even when it comes to price, generally the XC90, it tends to beat the Germans on price when new, yet it seems to retain its value more when used when compared to much of the competition. Currently here in Australia, first generation XC90s, they range from around about $7,000 to $35,000. Although good ones start at about $15,000. And second generation XC90s kick off from around about $35,000 and top out at just under 140 grand. Now this next SUV is often overlooked thanks to its near identical sibling. Maybe people just forget it exists in the first place, or maybe the Land Cruiser badge is just far more appealing. That's right, it's the Lexus LX. While fans seem to talk about the 100, 200 and 300 series Toyota Land Cruiser like it's some sort of gift from the gods, the Lexus LX, which is basically just a fancier and more luxurious version of the aforementioned Land Cruisers, tends to be all too often forgotten or just ignored. Okay, granted, while the looks have always been let's say an acquired taste when compared to their Land Cruiser counterparts, and you certainly do pay for the extra features and the Lexus branding, and the Land Cruiser is generally available in a wider choice of engines and fuel types, there's no denying that the LX offers an incredible blend of luxurious and affluent atmosphere while still retaining the proven ruggedness and invincibility of the Land Cruiser's underpinnings. Yet still, far more people buy Range Rovers than they do Lexus LXs. Yet, unlike many Range Rovers of the same age, we've seen plenty of late 90s and early noughties LXs still going strong, even when the tacho has delved deep into the 400,000 kilometre realm. And we're not just talking about the mechanicals either. Like, the way the electronics, the leather and the interior trim handles hundreds of thousands of kilometres worth of wear and tear is truly incredible. Pricing wise, one of these early noughties LXs will set you back around about $20,000 here in Australia, while a current LX600 will be hovering around the $250,000 mark, which, yes, is a hell of a lot of money. But as history may have shown us, do you honestly think a $250,000 Range Rover or Mercedes or BMW could handle the levels of abuse that the LX is capable of? Now, Toyota and Lexus aren't alone when it comes to plonking a different face on their tried and tested big SUV, making it a little bit more schmancy, and then rebranding it only for the majority of the SUV buying public to ignore it. That's right, next up, it's the Infiniti QX80. Okay, let's get something straight right away. The QX80 is really just a Y62 Nissan Patrol with a boatload of bling bolted to it. However, the QX80 does have a seriously premium feel, and many claim that for what is often a near identical asking price, the QX80 offers so much more in terms of luxurious appointments while retaining all that makes the Patrol so bloody appealing. Like the Patrol, the QX80 is smooth to drive, more than capable on the rough stuff, offers immense practicality, that V8 engine is downright addictive, yet the exterior and interior differences feel a whole class above. And while there are currently hundreds of Y62 Patrols being advertised on Australian websites and classifieds at the moment, there are just over a dozen QX80s up for offer. Again, with less of these on our roads, that makes these far more exclusive. And isn't like exclusivity something you really want when you're buying a luxury SUV? Okay, the looks prior to the 2018 second facelift can make it look like a Patrol-sized sad clown, but come on, these more recent QX80s look awesome, especially with some quality additions thrown on them. Pricing-wise, you're going to be looking at around about $60,000 for a well-used 2016 example, and up to $100,000 for a mint-condition 2019, which is still about $20,000 less than what some equivalent condition Patrols are asking. And while some may be concerned with the fact that Infiniti as a brand are no longer represented here in Australia, again, as the QX80 is basically a Nissan Patrol, servicing and parts availability will be a breeze for a long time to come yet. Now, before you even think about buying any of these or really any used SUV, it is critical that you check out our ultimate 4x4 buyer's guide. The link is just up here and down there, and honestly guys, it could save you thousands. Also, the only way that ReDriven can grow and therefore keep making these videos for you guys is with your support, and the easiest way of supporting us is simply by hitting the like, subscribe and bell buttons, sharing our content as much as you possibly can with your mates, and maybe buying some merch as well. Honestly, doing all of that, it helps us out so much. Okay, taking this list out, and honestly, I feel like anytime I mention this SUV to really anyone, they generally have no idea what I'm talking about, but I know from experience it is a very special thing. It's the Genesis GV80. Starting with the visuals, at a glance, the GV80 has something quite Bentley Bentayga about it, although personally, I prefer the GV80's twin horizontal lights over the Bentayga's goggly eyes, but the comparisons don't end there. The quality of the fit and finish challenge even the most premium of luxury SUVs. The levels of tech, features and equipment offered are arguably class-leading. The interior design and the layout is absolutely stunning, and the materials used, especially when optioned with the luxury pack with its quilted leather seats and black or olive ash wood detailing, easily trumps its equivalently priced European competitors. It's supremely practical, the driving experience exceeds all expectations, and even in terms of the ownership, not only does it come with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, Genesis offers 5 years of complimentary servicing, saving you potentially thousands of dollars when compared to its European rivals. There's even a valet service that can collect and return your GV80 to your home or office when it's being serviced and provide you a courtesy vehicle while your car is away. So surely the only reasons that the majority of people continue to buy any of the more obvious brands of SUVs is because either they just don't know the Genesis exists in the first place, or they are just brand snobs that simply cannot get past the fact that Genesis is a division of Hyundai. Plus, there are hardly any of these on Australian roads, making them incredibly exclusive. And honestly, if you're in the market for a large luxury SUV in that $90,000 to $150,000 range, please check out the GV80 because it is superb, regardless of the price and regardless of the fact that you're probably going to save thousands of dollars over any of the European rivals. We've tried to, Sean Connery's back again. And thanks to it being built on the same platform that underpins other Honda, although that is easily fixed with some, the link is just up here and down there, and guys, honestly, we cannot, what am I trying to say? Easily trumps its equivalently priced, oh you f***ing bastard, you were so close. Saving you, that's right, it's the Lexus LX. And I'm not sure what sound my mouth just made then, but we're gonna do it again because that was weird. So next week, we're talking overrated luxury SUVs. Let us know in the comments what vehicles you think need to make the list. Also, what makes up your list of underrated luxury SUVs? Let us know in the comments. See you next week.